Hey everybody, welcome to eTrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the High Load Racks Destination 4-Bike Rack Carrier here on the back of our 2020 Chevy Traverse. Now guys, this is going to be a great little way of getting a host of different bikes to where you need to go. Now right out of the gate, it is going to be a little busy. There's a lot of straps, a lot of moving pieces. However, I think once we actually get our bikes up on there, start getting in use, you're going to see how well of a carrier it actually is. So yes, it's busy, but all those contact points are going to give us really good securance on all our bikes. Therefore, we should have no trouble getting our bikes to our destination. Taking a look right here in the end, you will see little reflectors. I like pointing those out because I don't think they're standard enough across the industry. That way we can be safe in the knowledge that everybody's going to know where we and our family are on our ride home, that we don't have any interactions, anybody, no accidents, everybody gets home safe. And of course too, right here at the cradle, nothing too crazy, about 3 inches here on that maximum width. Of course you do have that standard 18T groove right there on there in the middle. And of course we have these little rubber strips here, just a little ratcheting system to hold on to those front and back wheels. Now that rubber pad is nice, of course, to make sure we don't have any contact or friction building up on our wheel rims. And here as well, guys, this is interchangeable. So you'll see we have 2 fixed positions on either side of our cradles. And that's going to go ahead and allow us to change these over. Starts giving you a lot of versatility. And I think that's what's really cool about this rack. Not only are those cradles able to shift over, but a lot of times you start running into issues with frame mounts of just irregularities in that horizontal frame actually working out. Well, for us, luckily, we have a 360-degree revolution available here, right here in that center mass. So if you got a diagonal bike like us, got a horizontal, vertical, not going to be a problem at all. Definitely going to have a good time. And I really like how much height difference we get here too. So if you have that step-through bike, you can still get that lower one while you have those high crossbars. Definitely going to have an okay time grabbing on there too. So I like the versatility of this rack as well. It is going to be doing a great job. And speaking of that, what kind of bikes can we get up on here? Well, with a 35-pound capacity per bike, we should have no trouble getting most of our standard and even into those mountain bike range kind of weights. Now the one thing I will say with it though, be careful. If you do have a carbon frame bike, you do have frame contact right here. Now it's not going to be that constant pressure, of course, as if it was on a hanging style, but it does have frame contact, and with just a little bit of wiggle, that's all a carbon frame really needs to do to start warping and deteriorating that carbon frame. So I'd be very hesitant, and I'd pretty much be sure to say don't throw a carbon bike up on here because we have frame contact. Don't want that damaging it, of course. Well, to get our bike off won't take us any time though. We're going to come right up to those strips we mentioned. We just have a little gray lever here that's going to go ahead and allow us to take out our ratcheting strip. Get that guy set off to the side and behind it. Repeat the process on the other side. And that does bring us to our last point of contact on here, guys. So now before I get the bike off, let's go ahead and see how our tires are interacting with our lights here. You can see that we are kind of right where those backup lights and those reverse lights are. However, we do have our side ones. So I think we're going to be okay even if we get 4 bikes up on here, especially with how far we are from there. We're not going to be blocking that emittance of the light, so we should have an A-okay time and letting people know when we are braking. Now one great little thing too, we can go ahead and just take this guy off. To do so, I just want to simply support that bike. A hand behind the seat post is always great. We can go ahead and take that out like so. Get that set down, and then our bike can easily be taken off. So it doesn't take any time, and mounting it is just as easy, if not easier. All we got to do is walk it right up. Now the one thing to watch out for, of course, is making sure your straps aren't quite in your way. One thing that's nice about these guys, they're very easily turned and kind of stuck underneath there, so you don't really have to fight them, which is always great. So now one little thing with this guy too, you know, as it stands right now, we can't actually open up our hatch. And that's kind of the only, I'd say, negative that the Destination has going for it. There's no way to tilt it away when the bike is on there. However, we can still access our cargo once we get our bikes off. So now that we have our bike off, we can come right up to our center mast here. We're gonna have a little knob, and with a little lefty-loosey action, we can take that little cam lever out, get that set to the side, get these set down here, and I like to just go ahead already and take this back strip here, guys, and simply loop this through our center mass into that position. And that's going to go ahead and make sure that that mass doesn't pop up, which is going to be great for us later. But now you guys can see I can come right out to my Traverse and go ahead, access that back hatch, and still get everything I need. So bike, helmets, coolers, anything I need quick access to, I'm going to have it. Now you're not going to have a ton of space here. As you guys can see, I got about 360 degrees here of movement. Got somewhat bigger legs too, so everybody at home should be having an A-okay time. Get in the back here, get everything we need. Now guys, with any hitch mounted accessory, we are going to be adding a little bit of length to our vehicle. So let's go ahead and see exactly what we're working with here. Now the Traverse, not the longest vehicle out there, definitely not the shortest though. So let's see exactly what is happening here. So from the rear of our bumper to the very end of our carrier is going to be putting us right at 40.5 inches there, guys. So definitely a little length to consider. However, you are getting 4 bikes up on here, and we do have a way of shortening that down really fast for ourselves. So right here in that inner assembly, we're going to have a little clip and knob situation. That's actually going to go ahead and release us. Now, before I get too ahead of myself though, let's go ahead and get that clearance measurement while we're actually out. So when our bikes are actually in this position, we definitely don't want to be making contact with the ground, which can end up damaging our bikes, and of course our carrier. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at our clearance. Looks like our wing is going to be our furthest position, and at 23.5 inches there from the ground to the very end of our carrier. I definitely think we're going to have tons of clearance here, especially we're not too far from that rear axle. Just keep in mind, as those front wheels go up, the back will go down. So if you do have any very steep inclines, terrain, off-roading that you're going to be taking in the Traverse, just be a little conscious of that, of course. So let's go ahead, bring ourselves back up to that maneuver up front we are going to do to shave ourselves from down some length. We have a little retaining clip. We simply pull that guy, and then this hand knob, once again, lefty-loosey, of course. And it's going to have a nice little safety cable here too, so I can go ahead and pull that out. Let it sit there, bring myself to the front of my mast, really get underneath all that weight, walk it up into position. Now, we're not going to walk it quite all the way up. It is going to have a fixed point that we want to find, reinsert that knob, and start tightening it down. Not only do I really like that safety cable, just letting it hang right there for me, I like how that knob is actually quite big, very easy to actually utilize. And, it's not going to be a pain when our hands are cold or wet and we're trying to get that in the position we want it. Really, really easy to do. So now we've shaved down a lot of that length though, guys. Let's go ahead and see from our bumper to the very end now. Looks like our wings are going to be our furthest point. From the very back, let me go ahead and make sure I'm set right there at our furthest point. That bumper kind of curves there, guys. So go ahead and see, we're looking right at 16 inches there, guys. So almost 30 inches getting shaved down. That's going to help us a lot to get this in the garage, or at least a lot more maneuverability when we need to go park this guy at the trailhead. Now moving our way to the bottom though, you will see we do have a 2-inch shank here today, allowing us to utilize our 2-inch hitch receiver on our Traverse. You also are seeing a threaded anti-rattle hitch bolt there, guys. Now, they're very standard across the industry, but you still love to see them. They're going to take all that play out between our receiver and our shank, bring it all into one system, and as you guys can see, as I shake this, it's shaking the entirety of the Traverse. That means we're in line. That's making for a nicer, smoother ride for ourselves, our bike rack, and our bikes. On the other side, though, you will see we do have a nice little locking core here. That locking core is going to go ahead and make sure that our carrier can stay attached to our vehicle when we leave it unattended, which can be a great little option, of course, to make sure we have that ease of mind. Well, guys, I think the Destination is a great little pickup. If you're looking a way of getting a nice, stable platform rack with 4 bikes on it without having to break the bank, you don't really think you can go wrong with the Destination. You're also going to have that nice little rise in that shank, as you guys saw, so you're not going to be worried about clearance issues, especially if you find yourself just kind of weekend worrying. I think this is great. Going to be a great little pickup. Well, guys, I think that about does it for our look at the Honda Destination 4-bike rack carrier here on our 2020 Chevy Traverse. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.
Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First, we'll start with the slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on, and see how it holds up.